Right, hello, welcome to today's video, and as you can see we're looking at a Whirlpool AWG329 1100 spin washer dryer. Now this machine's from late 2002 and it's built by Smeg, and I certainly haven't seen many of these out and about. I think this is the first one I've seen in person. I've never actually been to one in the field to repair, and I say they're getting on a bit now, so I'd say they're getting quite rare. This particular machine was taken out by a bloke about 10 years ago. I gather he was a carpenter. This was taken out of the kitchen at the time, working, and it was stored until the bloke put it on Marketplace, and I went and collected it. So yeah, it's quite an interesting machine, as we'll get on to in a minute when we take the lid off and have a look in the drum. But yeah, let's start with the control panel. So, on the left we have our powder tray. The programs are written on the front. 1 to 7 are your cotton cycles and 8 to 12 are your delicate cycles. One thing I don't quite understand is why drain and spin on the cotton section has a number 7, but the delicate spin and drains just have a letter S. Maybe both numbers 13 and 14 are unlucky, who knows. Also, the handle provides a handy area to store your dust and grime. So we have a 3-compartment dispenser with a blanked off 4th section in the middle. We've got main wash on the left, conditioner in the middle L shape, and pre-wash on the right. Unfortunately the tray is broken and the handle is a little bit loose, so just got to be a bit careful with that one. Okay, and then we've got the rest of the fascia to look at. So we've got 3 buttons, 4 dials, which is rather unusual actually, 4 dials. Main buttons are on off, energy save, which I'm not entirely sure what that does, and intensive rinse. I gather intensive rinse must add in a rinse because I ran it through a cottons wash. It skipped a phase of rinses, it did 3, and I expect it would do 4 if the button was pressed. Might also increase the water level, but I'm not sure. We'll have to find out when I run it up with the option pressed. On the left is the drying selector, which goes from 2 hours, hour and a half, 70 minutes, 50, 30 to off. We've got a spin speed selector which goes from 1100 right the way down to 700 consecutively, jumps to 500, rinse hold, and then drain with no spin at the top. We have the temperature selector. This goes from 0 to 1, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75, which is quite useful, and 90. And the main programmer timer on the right hand side. Obviously you've got cotton section, cotton's tumble drying. There's this little spanner mode, which I was reading up an old forum online about one of these machines not spinning or draining or something like that, and they said it would tick to the spanner setting, which confused me before I picked the machine up actually, but it must sit on the spanner if there's a fault. It's got a big circuit board in the bottom as well as the timer, so I guess there's some fuzzy logic programming going on behind the front. Then you get onto your delicate side, delicate drying, woolen programs, spin and stop. Let's have a look in the lid first. I'll tell you why, and then we'll look in the drum. Okay, so this is where things start to get a little bit unusual. As you can see, we have the soap box on the left hand side. There is a hot and cold inlet valve, the cold one you cannot see at the moment. At the back right, we have the tumble dryer duct, which unusually goes straight to the back of the drum. It does not go front to back like a normal condensing washer dryer and input the hot air at the front through the door seal. It seems to go in the back of the drum, and I will show you the drum very shortly. Certainly not a setup that I've seen before, and I don't think the later ones are like this, but yeah, I can't imagine it's very efficient. I have no intention of trying it really. I don't think it's going to be that great. Yeah, anyway, At the front right, you can see we've got the pressure switch and the clockwork timer at the far right corner. It's a stainless steel drum. I think the shock absorbers are on their way. As you can hear and see, it's a bit bouncy, but whatever. It's a 20-something-year-old machine now anyway. So there we are. That's inside the top. Now we've seen that, I'll show you in the drum. It'll make a bit more sense why today's showing you. Okay, so the door is opened by the little push button to the right of it. Interestingly, being a washer dryer, I anticipated this to have a plastic heat shield on the front, but it doesn't. You're straight onto the glass door. I suppose being integrated is less likely to be touched by a little child per se, but there we go. Hasn't got one less job to do before I film it and take it out. The door opens to about 90 degrees. Could be better, could be worse. The door bowl's not too deep, to be fair. It's quite shallow, probably because of the lack of the dry duct in the door sill, so it doesn't get too much in the way for loading and unloading. As you can see in the back of the drum, there's this weird little circular vent. This does go round with the drum, and I expect this is either where the hot air is injected or air is drawn out of the clothes. I can't imagine this system works very well. Inside is a fairly standard Smeg drum with 3 plastic paddles. And at the bottom of the machine we have a plastic panel with 2 little coin key locks. This comes away to reveal the drain and filter. When I got the machine, it refused to drain. I had to put a new pump on it. I didn't have the right pump for it, but I managed to get a Beko pump motor to twist onto the original housing of the machine, and that seems to work. So happy days. On the other side, behind these plastic tabs, is in fact the main circuit board for the washing machine. It does strike me as baffling that it would be positioned at the front bottom underneath, near enough the door sill, so if it gets wet, if the door sill goes, it's going to get wet. That's probably why there's not many of them left, because it seems a bit daft, but there we go. There's probably a reason for putting it there, so who am I to talk and say anything about it? Okay, so that's enough talking from me. I expect you've had enough of my voice for today. As per usual with these videos though, we're going to put it on a rinse and spin so you can get a feel of what the machine's going to be like when we come to put some washing in it and filming some full cycles. Let's get on with that. So we're going to use the Cotton's Softener Rinse, number 6. Spin speed is left at 1100, that is fine. No options, go. Yeah, it does that. It pulses once, and then it commits to filling up. This was, I think, clean up alright, to be fair. I left it in the condition as found for the video. Yeah, that looks like it's going to clean up quite well, actually. Nice. Yeah, you can see those shock absorbers there. Not the best, it jumped down, sit up and down quite a bit. advanced, we're now sat between 6 and 7. I think this goes to shorter tumbles. No? I'm not entirely sure this phase of tumbling in the same direction is useful, but there we go, it's how it's programmed. Can't argue with it. So contrary to what the camera shows, that thing at the back is spinning with the drum. It is not going in the opposite direction. I know myself. It's already started to clean up an absolute treat. I'm very surprised and pleased. So we're currently sat one index before the spanner symbol. Dry fan is running. And on to stop. There we are then. That's the end of this video. Hopefully we can get this thing cleaned up a bit. It's a bit, well, you can see it suffered a bit in storage, I think. Hopefully you can join me another time for a full cycle video. Until that point, it's goodbye from me.